when Aaron and Moses, Aaron and Hur, held up Moses' hands when he was fighting Amalek, and so they're on both sides of him, right, as they do this battle. And so the Torah is placed here, and then depending upon the day, on Shabbat, we have 7 aliyot. An aliyah means to go up. We have 7 people who come up and have the honor of making a blessing and reading the portion of the Torah. And so they would come up, they would make a blessing. The blessing is right here, which says, thank you for giving us this Torah. And then they can either read it, or more often than not, we have a professional reader who reads the section. And everyone, while they're in the congregation, has the books in front of them, and they're able to follow along. In ancient times, sometimes you would have someone who would shout it out so other people could hear what the Torah reader is doing. I mentioned there's a belt, right? This holds it together. We don't touch the cloth itself, the parchment itself. If ever we have to move it around, we usually take something else or a tali to be able to touch it. And then we open it. And you could see how this would take a great long amount of time to connect it. It's obviously handwritten. There's also what's called the crowns on top. Right? There are some people who say that each of these crowns on top of the letters also have an interpretation. We have one thing in here. I don't know if you see how in the calligraphy.
You see then squiggles on top?
So this is a little bit of an ignorant question, Ian.
Yes.
Given that you can have a book to read the Torah, what's the significance? It's very distinct, isn't it? The Judaism to keep the scrolls and to give them the place that they give. What am I missing in understanding that?
So you tell me now. I think you gave probably part of the answer in your question.
What am I missing?
Yeah.
Well,
you're right. Everyone has a book.
There's an awe of seeing the action of seeing it in scroll form, and that it's given the place that it's given. So there's something that generates, I think, within me a greater awe than just picking up a book that's maybe on a table or somewhere else.
I think so. I think that's a big part of it, is that, we spoke about holiness has to do not only with the item itself, but also the people around and what they ascribe to it. So if everyone comes together, it's not something you can just do in your home. You have to come together with other people. You have to have a certain amount of professionalism. You have to be able to read it. It's not so easy to read. You can't just do it necessarily by yourself.
Remember we talked about vocalization when we were speaking to the party, that there aren't vowels.
Yeah, it's a real talent, meaning I can read the letters here, but first of all, there's no vowels, and in addition to no vowels, there's a musical notes that people memorize ahead of time. They have to study it usually for the whole week beforehand in order to come and read it, because there are musical notes that are not here, but they sing to it and they've memorized that. They also have commentaries to it as well.
And the rabbis listen to hear that
they make no mistakes, and so you're absolutely right in the sense that you've turned what could be a mundane experience, I'm just reading a book, to a communal, spiritual, intellectual, educational, impressive event. Right? Everyone comes, they stand. There's a choreography in Judaism, quite significant. When we open the ark, everyone stands. We sing a song, and we welcome the ark, and we walk around. Right? There's a processional. As people come by, they kiss the Torah. There's a whole procession, and that, of course, that's pomp and circumstance. Why do we still have pomp and circumstance? Because it's something, when you go to a graduation and you have this is an event that we're going to remember. We're going to take pictures and we're going to look back. So there's a goal in trying to impress upon, I think, that's not just a regular event.